I kicked Dad's car again and again. I hate them. I hate them so much. Ugh. They just love making me miserable. They make fun of me. They're mean to me. They think I'm not special. But I'll find out what makes me special one day. Everyone will love me, and they'll see. Hi, I'm Betty, and I hate my family. I'm the youngest child, and I have a mean older sister, Emily. My parents never wanted me, and they never failed to let me know that. Ah, man. I told you we shouldn't have kept the baby. Just look at her. She's so ugly. I'm not taking that thing in my house. That's what my dad said when I was born. And my mom replied, "Oh, shut up. Stop being so dramatic. She can be useful in the house." On my 10th birthday, I asked my mom why they don't celebrate my birthday like they do Emily's. "Oh, don't you know? We didn't plan for you, and we don't want you. Also, we look like a royal family, and just look at you. You look like a maid." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. But she wasn't finished. "I think it's time you start earning your keep in this house. Starting tomorrow, you're doing all the house chores. Since you're old enough to ask for a birthday party, you're old enough to work." I knew I wasn't beautiful like Emily. I think I wasn't really beautiful at all, but something down in my soul told me that I'm special in some way. Not bragging, but I just knew it. I just had to find it. The next day, I was napping when my sister barged into my room and slammed the door. I woke up immediately feeling really startled. She stood by the door with a sneaky smile on her face. "Aw, poor baby. Are you scared? I'm so sorry I woke you up." I was so angry. I knew she wasn't sorry. She got a thrill out of making me miserable. She was always trying to embarrass me at school, too. One morning, while I was getting ready for school, she entered my room with a yellow sundress and threw it at me. "Here, you can wear this. It's too outdated for me now, but it's still better than anything you have." I knew immediately that she gave me that dress because she wanted to humiliate me. "Sure," I replied. So I changed some things about the dress to make it more fashionable, and then I paired it with black boots. When I walked into class, everyone was staring at me. I could tell they were impressed by my outfit and sense of fashion. I was so happy. After class, when Emily saw me in the hall, she looked shocked and horrified. "How dare you do that to my dress?" Ugh! With that, she stormed off angrily, and I felt even happier. One day, I saw Emily going through Mom's cupboard and walking away with a box. Of course, they wouldn't mind her taking anything she wanted, but a couple of days later, Mom barged into my room with Dad and Emily right behind her, accusing me of stealing her jewelry. I told her I didn't do it. Then I pointed at Emily. "Why don't you ask your precious daughter? I saw her taking it." Emily gave me an evil smile, and I started to feel suspicious. "Emily would never do that. I'm going to search your room, and if I find it, girl, you'll wish you were never born." What an irony. She searched my room and found the jewelry. I was dumbfounded. Emily must have planted it in my room. I just stood there, speechless. "You thief!" Emily was giggling, and Dad started screaming at me. No matter how many times I said I hadn't stolen it, he just wouldn't believe me. He told me I was grounded for 2 weeks with no phone and no lunch money. As if that wasn't bad enough, he said I had to clean the house from top to bottom. I looked at my dad with hatred. He pampered my mom and Emily, but treated me like dirt. I couldn't take it anymore, so I screamed at them. "I hate you! I hate you guys!" They looked shocked because I'd never stood up to them before. "Just you watch. I'll find what makes me special, and people will love me for it." I stormed out of the room and ran outside to my dad's car and kicked it. It felt good. A week after that, I was looking for my math assignment everywhere. I asked Emily if she had taken it, but she said no. Of course, I didn't trust her, so I waited till she went out with her friends, and then I sneaked into her room. I wasn't surprised when I found it under her bed next to her iPod. I decided to take that too. That's when I discovered my love for music. Whenever I was upset and wanted to escape my family, I would go into my room and listen to songs on the iPod. I would sing along, and it would really calm me down. One day in the cafeteria, I was walking to a table when Emily suddenly threw something on the floor. Before I could stop myself, I had stepped on a banana peel and I slipped, with my lunch flying everywhere. I heard someone say, "What a clumsy fool." I was so embarrassed, I just ran out of there. After that day, I started eating in the school library all by myself. One day during lunch break, I was listening to music on my iPod as usual, and I started singing along when I heard a voice say, "Oh my, you have such an angelic voice." I turned around to see it was the school librarian, Mrs. Shepherd. She looked really impressed, but I didn't believe her. "Thank you, but I don't think there's anything special about my voice." She told me to sing it again, and this time, she recorded it on her phone. I'd never thought about that. She played it back, and I heard the most beautiful tone. At that moment, I realized I discovered my gift. I was so ecstatic. I hugged her and said, "Thank you so much. I've wanted to have something special my whole life, and you've made me realize what it is." I rushed home to tell my family about my singing ability. They just stared at me for a moment and then burst out laughing. "What an attention seeker you are, Betty. Just stop making stuff up. You're never gonna be anyone special." After the jewelry incident, I hadn't been able to forgive Dad for not believing me and treating me badly, and he was just doing it again. I wanted to hurt him as much as he had hurt me. So I decided to call his company and accuse him of theft. Dad worked as an account manager for a business firm, and I wasn't exactly sure if he had stole from the company, but someone as horrible as him must be shady, and I wanted him investigated. At the end of my junior year, I was singing in my room when my sister screamed from her room, "Stop squawking like a bird!" I rolled my eyes and yelled, "You would know since you screech like one." Just then, there was a knock at our main door. I ran to open it and found 2 male cops standing there. One of them asked, "Is this the Blackwell residence?" Everyone was in the hall by now, and the cops walked straight over to Dad and said he was under arrest for embezzlement. The company he worked for had discovered that he had been moving their money to an offshore account. Before the cops left, they asked me how I knew my dad was stealing money. I told them I had my suspicions. My family couldn't believe what they were hearing. Dad started screaming at me. "You ungrateful girl! You called the cops on me! I hate you!" "I can't believe you! I should have listened to your father when he said we shouldn't keep you." My sister could only scream and cry. I couldn't care less. After Dad was sentenced to jail, we became the talk of the town and everyone looked at us with contempt. Mom decided to move us to a small town where we could start afresh. I was so excited because I didn't really have friends in school because my sister had made everyone think I was a loser. The day we moved to our new house, my mom said, "Don't get yourself too excited, young lady. You'll have to fend for yourself now. Now that you've sent your dad away, I'm no longer responsible for you. You should be grateful I haven't disowned you." I rolled my eyes. I don't expect anything less. The next day, I started looking for a job, and I eventually found one in a small antique store as a salesperson. When I was walking back home, I heard someone singing, and I traced the voice to a guy in the park. He sounded beautiful. I sat next to him on the bench and started singing along. He seemed startled, but didn't stop, and before I knew it, we'd gathered a crowd. Surprisingly, that became the beginning of my music career. After the performance, the guy introduced himself. "My name is Zach. You have a really nice voice. I've never drawn a big a crowd as you did today." I was so flattered, I could only smile. That night,